All right. So, what I want to do, I was just struck when I was watching season 5. I think the first thing that really hit me was how the upside down, just as I was watching it, and I don't know why it didn't hit me before season 5, but whatever. As we were watching it, I turned to my husband, Peter, and I was like, you know what? The upside down, the fact that it's a copy of reality, but it's flipped, it just makes me think of how that's really what evil is. It's the corruption of what's really there. It's not something completely new. It's corrupted. It's a corruption of reality and God's creation. That was the first thing that really hit me. Do you guys have thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that the upside down is a very Augustinian concept, right? Where
Mm,
Augustine had this idea that evil is a privation or like the absence, the corruption of the good, right? That evil doesn't have independent existence. It's a privation, it's a corruption of something pre-existing that is good. And that is what you see in the upside down, right? There's no independent existence that it has. It just takes the good everyday things of Hawkins and twists them. And it's like a poor facsimile of what already exists in the real world. So yeah,
hmm
it absolutely, you can do a very easy Augustinian reading of Stranger Things.
Yeah, I should have thought of that. I read Augustine in my freshman year of college for the first time. And the absence of evil, I remember, was the absence being what's evil or whatever. I'm not as erudite as you are, Matthew. Christina, did you have thoughts on that?
The upside down in particular?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was fascinating even in the very beginning of season 1 where you realize it's a mirror image and like,
Yeah.
basically, and you do think of, like, the upside down, you do think of, like, what is the equal opposite, you know?
hmm
And I do it's not like at first, it's just really creepy because it is almost like, "It's us, but it's not. It's Hawkins,
hmm
not," you know? And the
Yeah.
kids are trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. In season 5, there's even there's even a reference to all that, like, ash stuff falling from the
Yeah.
sky, and one of them is like, "Have we discovered what this is? Is it something like, is it radiation? Is it gonna hurt us?" And they're just like, "No idea."
Yeah.
Like, we
No
never figured
idea.
that one out.
Yeah.
Um, and, uh, and so that made me laugh,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's just something I really think, yeah, there's that mirror image and how sin can look so normal to us, you know,
hmm
so much like us, but it's still corrupted, and you gotta have the
Yeah.
eyes to see it. Although, I think in Upside Down is pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. Sort of hit us over the head with the
Yeah.
metaphor. And I think that that sort of feeling like things aren't as they should be is something we encounter even when it's not abject evil. Like you guys know, I experienced a lot of losses last year. My mom and then two teenagers I knew well didn't know each other, but they both took their own lives within just a couple months of each other. And one of them, she was only 13, and that's the one thing her dad keeps saying. I'm still in touch with them, and he just keeps saying, it's not, this isn't how it's supposed to be. It's just not, this is not right. This isn't how it's supposed to be. And sort of that ache and that feeling, just this, we could go to this is not our home, although God did put us here for a purpose. That's a whole other conversation. But but yeah, just sort of that feeling of things are just not right and they're not the way God would love for them to be, you know? It's not the Garden of Eden.
And while we're on the topic of this other hidden world, there's more parallels we can draw there, right? Because
Mhm.
you see that the main characters, the heroes who know about the other world, they have this advantage over everyone else because they're the ones who have eyes to see that there's more than just what there seems to be on the surface, and they can perceive what's actually happening while everybody else is just sort of blindly guessing and arriving at very wrong conclusions. So you see that there's this awareness of something beyond what we can just perceive and how that dramatically alters the way that you behave.
So what other parallels did you guys see? We can stick with Upside Down as long as we want to milk that one or move on to something else that you're dying to say.
Well, something along those lines is I really enjoyed how the main characters, especially once the season gets going with season 5, have this attitude where they know that the vast majority of Hawkins doesn't understand what's going on, will will blame them for what's going on and won't give them any credit for doing the right thing, but they still just do the right thing, even though they
Mm.
know a lot of it will cause Hawkins to hate them and the military to try to kill them. It's an attitude of like, I can't convince you. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I don't care what you think of me. And I appreciated the attitude. They straight up kidnapped Derek's family.
Yes, they
That's a
did.
serious crime, but they did it to save Derek.
Also, sorry, look, kind of a side note, but what happened to Derek's parents? Like, I guess they were at the graduation,
And his
but
sister.
they didn't really show them getting rescued. But anyway, whatever. That's another
I mean,
podcast.
they know that Erica's responsible because she's the one who chloroformed her friend at the very end, and Erica's just running around free.
Anyway, okay, back to the what are some other parallels or as far as he stumbled into God's truth with this aspect of the show? So another aspect that I saw was each of the characters had some kind of fragile or weak, I don't know, like humans do, but it seemed like their very thing that made them seem fragile, and particularly Will. I mean, Will, I think, just seemed like the drag on everybody. Will is missing. Like, why can't Will take care of himself? What's wrong with Will? He just seemed, from season one, obviously, in particular, but even after that, it was like he was just sort of the center of all the problems. He was just the victim, just pure fragile victim. And then what did you guys think about what they did with him in season 5?
Yeah, I do like the way that you framed it that way, because I think you could have made it a very good case coming into this season that Will was the character who is the most hard done by the entire show, because season 1, he's the one missing, he's the MacGuffin, he's the one they're all looking for. He doesn't actually get a lot of screen time. He's just sort of, he's gone, or he's like, making scared noises in a hut. And then in season 2, he's basically, what's established about his character is that his mom is very protective of him, and he eventually gets possessed by the mind flayer. So, and he becomes basically the antagonist without meaning to. Season 3, he's basically the one who wants to keep playing Dungeons and Dragons while his friends go out on dates, and it's like, gosh, bro, read the room. And then in season 4, he's the one who's kind of whining as Micah and Elle hang out with each other, and he's the awkward third wheel. That's all he does. So this is the one, this season, he's given a chance to do something. My goodness, Joyce. Oh my
My
gosh.
goodness, yes.
I had it with her. By the way, if I was Jonathan, I think I would clock all this as well. It's like, no, my beautiful little boy, William will stay by my side. Jonathan, you go fight though, whatever it is. But William, my golden child. So we have that attitude. And then Will,
It is actually pretty bad. I actually kept forgetting that Jonathan was her son as well, because Will was like always like,
yeah, apparently Joyce kept forgetting too. But at the beginning of the season, I was getting pretty fed up with the dynamic. And I know we're supposed to, as the audience, this is the filmmakers doing what they're supposed to do. It's like, Will, friggin' grow a backbone, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
Do something. And
Right.
he does, and I think overall he ended up at a good place. Danielle, my wife, she decided she was out on seasons 4 and 5, so I watched them all by my lonesome. But I did have to describe to Danielle when Will got his powers, because I was just so gosh darn proud of that boy.
Yeah.
He's not just making scared noises in the hut anymore. He's out there doing stuff.
Well, and I think the overprotectiveness of Joyce really, it seems like that ended up being kind of what was restraining him, not blaming, I'm not saying go to therapy and blame your mothers for everything, but
It's not for everything, but I think Will could blame his mother for this one thing.
I'm just saying, as a principle, when you sense that someone doesn't believe you can handle something, when you have that sense, if someone is being overprotective of you, then you get that message that you don't have it. You don't have what it takes. There's no power source that can help you, because do you know what I mean? And so not to be like, Pollyanna, believe in yourself and you can do anything. But the gifts that he had were there the whole time, but they were restrained by his believing his own reputation as being the victim, and then also shame for things he didn't like about himself. And all of those things are like paralyzing. And so it wasn't until Joyce was like, okay, no, you really can, like, you are strong, you are more than I've been letting you be, that he really took off and saved the world. So, yeah.